Hello YouTube, this is going to be a video of my 2016 Gio Metro electric scooter. It's a 48 volt scooter with a 500 watt motor. It's a brushless motor. I was under the impression when I got this that Gio was a higher quality Chinese scooter, being that when you look them up on Google you could find the scooter itself. You could still find Gio, and you could find all the models they make, and you could even find parts for them, whereas some other Chinese scooters you can't find them anymore on Google even, and you can't find parts for sure. You'd have to get generic ones. I got this for a project because it's quarantine, so yeah, basically the guy gave it to me dead batteries, and I bought it for $100 with dead batteries, and I thought that's all it need. It takes four 12 volt 12 amp hour batteries. I bought them from a guy in China, and it cost like $140 Canadian, and it's supposed to get here in about 2 weeks, and it ended up taking 6 weeks to get here, probably because of quarantine, but also because of China. So the previous owner, he lost the floor mat that covers here. Interesting enough, under that panel there, it's just empty. I don't know if there's supposed to be something there, but you could just see straight through to the frame. It fell over on the right side a few times, hence it broke the rack off, and the box is all cracked up. See, it's getting a little tear in it. It's probably left outside for a bit. So now there's no grab handle, so there's really nothing to grab it from in the back besides the frame itself. And of course, since it fell on the right mirror broke off, so it's missing that. It's pretty similar, all the controls pretty similar to a gas scooter, to a 50cc scooter. You have the even have the ignition that when you turn it to the left and turn the wheel, it locks the wheel, so it can't turn all the way around and push in and turn like a BWS or anything. So that's a nice feature of it. The brake light's pretty bright actually. The turn signals in front and back are like night lights, you can't really see. The headlight on this thing is amazing bright, and with the brights on it's even brighter. So I put the batteries in it thinking, okay, that's going to be the only problem, and turns out that the controller was bad. So I went and I bought a new controller, and it didn't have at all the same wiring. I had to figure it out. It was all in Chinese and a lot of wires weren't labeled. I had to take off the front cover, the top cover, take off the throttle. I had to test the throttle with 3 AA batteries to make sure the throttle's working. And then, because it's a brushless motor, it has Hall sensors, you can't just put power to the motor. I had to hope that the controller was the only thing that was wrong. I plugged everything in. I finally got it after 3 hours. I got it all wired correctly, I assume. And the motor works in forward. And yeah, you have to play around with the signal wire and stuff, the learning wire, to see if you get it in forward direction or reverse. But yeah, I got all that working. The quality on this is actually very cheap. The plastics are very brittle, like they'll break if you give it a pull in the wrong direction. And the welds on the frame are horrible, starting to rust, and not the best. But surprisingly, the drum brakes with their adjuster in the front and back are really nice. They feel of good quality, and you're able to adjust them, and it brakes very well for what it is. Although it doesn't go that fast, it goes about 32 kilometers an hour. I set the controller to go on the high speed setting because the controller is set for a 3-wire throttle, and I have a 5-wire throttle with a boost that changes the speeds between. There's 2 speed settings on it. So I just wired it to run the third. I took out that green button there. And what else? Oh, very interesting feature for this over here is a hub lock, and it has an interesting key. It looks like this. It's just yeah. So that goes in there. You turn it to lock the wheel, and when you spin it, the wheel will just lock up. Yeah, and you can unlock it, and it works pretty well. Besides for that, I guess I could show you everything working on it. For some reason the speedometer is not working. I assume it's something to do with this controller not having all the cables wired up right. And the battery gauge is wonky. Sometimes it says full, sometimes it says half charge. So you turn the key on, then you got to turn the kill switch on, and then you get your battery range. And then the bottom left you have your kilometers on this strip, which is also not really working, and keep switching between that and the voltage of the batteries and your speed. So over here is your headlight, and then you could put high beams on with that switch, and low beams, and headlight off. You still turn the headlight off on this one because it's not street like legal with all the requirements to pass inspection and everything, because it's considered a bicycle. Another good feature of it, I don't have the pedals, but right here, this shaft, as you can see, goes a chain to the rear wheel, and when you turn it, it turns the wheel. And those are made for putting pedals on to pedal in emergency circumstances, and just to make it legal and be considered a bicycle, so you don't need to register or license it or anything, and you can take it on bike paths and stuff where you're allowed to. Yeah, so let me show you the horn. Pretty dull. The blinkers, where are they here? Pretty dull, as you see. And then to shut them off, you push the button in the middle. And then other side blinker. Yeah. And I'll just give it a bit of throttle for you. I'm not going to ride it right now. But there we go. And you could brake. Now I don't know if there's a bearing out in it, or that's just the way the hub sounds. It doesn't feel like a bearing, because when you ride it still rides smooth, but it's pretty loud. Anyways, not really my style in the end. So I'm just gonna sell this thing. I'm in it more than I want it to be, and everything I'm in at like $400 Canadian, which is still an okay deal considering that when these were new they cost $1,200, and there aren't a lot of them around. There are some, and the ones that I've seen sell for $650, $700 without any new batteries or anything. The batteries are original. This one's got new batteries in it now, so should be okay. Tires hold air. They're not worn out or anything. Suspension works nice. It's a nice little bike, but pretty slow for me and not really my style. Maybe for a teenager who's 15, 16 years old and doesn't have a scooter license yet, or a car license, and wants to ride something on the roads to get places. Supposedly it has 40-kilometer range, but that's yet to be tried. Anyways, if you want me to make any more YouTube videos, just comment below and we'll see. It's during quarantine right now, so basically if I get the money and I have time and I know I could still get parts for something, I might pick them up as another project and do something. But for right now, this is it for now, and wait and see when the next project comes along, and hopefully quarantine will be over soon and everything will get better. Bye.